Hi, my name is Layla, and I don't know why this video has been so hard to start because it's really only for me and for God, and maybe anybody else who finds some advice or help within it, or it helps them reflect. But I have been thinking about starting a YouTube channel for a while, just as a way of documentation and reflection and self-growth. Wait, let me see if it's recording. Okay. So yeah, I want to strengthen my relationship with God, gain emotional maturity, and become the woman that God has intended me to be. I picked out some Bible verses to look at today to share with anyone, just sharing the gospel, but also to help myself read my own Bible. I don't know if anyone will even watch this, but to begin, all I did say why I made this YouTube channel. I want to upload every day. I want to share my progress and reflect on challenges, reflect on wins and progression, and help change my outlook on growth to go from an all or nothing perspective into just slow, steady, honor and grace, how God intended growth to look like. So I would like to start off by reading Proverbs 31, where how to be a godly woman is described. This is one of my favorite books. Okay. I like this setup, and it's on the monkey. What are you doing, my son? What are you doing, son of my womb? What are you doing, son of my vows? Do not give your strength to women, your ways to those who destroy kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel. It is not for kings to drink wine, or for rulers to take drink, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and pervert the rights of all the afflicted. Give strong drink to the one who is perishing, and wine to those in bitter distress. Let them drink and forget their poverty, and remember their misery no more. Open your mouth for the mute, for the rights of all who are destitute. Open your mouth, judge righteously, defend the rights of the poor and needy. So those are just the words of King Lemuel. That's the beginning of the book, but next is the woman who fears the Lord, which is what I should have read first and what I want to be focusing on. But yeah, obviously, message to everyone. Give to the needy, defend their rights. I mean, we all have equal innate value, and we should show kindness and love to each other as God does to us. So, the woman who fears the Lord. An excellent wife who can find? She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not harm all the days of her life. So, Eve was the helper to Adam. Help your husband. Love your husband. Let him trust in you. I think that's really something I need to work on, being more trustworthy and fixing my judgment to allow people to trust in me, because sometimes I feel like I can't trust myself or even other people, and I can only trust God. So I want to work on widening that trust and fixing my judgment. Maybe I need to read more Proverbs. Okay. She seeks wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like the ships of the merchant. She brings her food from afar. So I added on to willing hands here. Lately, I have been working on. Oops, my screen keeps going dim. Sorry. I've been working on my conviction to be more giving and willingly giving, and not giving in the way where you're convicted, but you don't really want to give because you have less, but you give because you know it's the right thing. I want to have conviction, and I pray for this, to the point where you give and it genuinely makes you feel happier and more blessed to give and then not to give, and there's no reluctance or second thought whatsoever. So to have willing hands. She rises while it is yet night and provides food for her household and portions for her maidens. She considers a field and buys it. With the fruit of her hands she plants a vineyard. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. So this is actually where the name I chose for my channel comes from. She is clothed in strength and dignity. I think that is the New Living Translation, but here it's Proverbs 31:17. She dresses herself with strength and makes her arms strong. That's also something I want to work on and track my progress of being strong. And I think as a child, when you think strong, you think of like the apple arm emoji, strong. But strong is not as straightforward as that. The strongest person to know is my boyfriend and his dad. And of course they're very physically strong, but there's mental and emotional strength and spiritual strength. You know, I have negative thoughts come to me every day, and it takes strength to ignore those and to turn to God when you feel temptation or when you feel negative thoughts or when the devil is telling you lies. But it's learned, and anyone can be strong. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. Her lamp does not go out at night. She's hardworking. She puts her hands to the distaff, and her hands hold the spindle. She opens her hand to the poor, and she reaches out her hands to the needy. So again, very giving. I think there's a lot of emphasis on hands because maybe hardworking and effort and attention to detail and care. The hands is the part of the body we extend and act through to create and to give and to love. Ignore that. And I think that's what a woman should be. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household are clothed in scarlet. She is protected and prepared for her family. She makes bed coverings for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known at the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them. She delivers sashes to the merchant. Strength and dignity are her clothing. I was actually mistaken. It is this verse. This is one of my favorite verses. And she laughs at the time to come. She laughs at the time to come. Does she laugh at the passing of time, or does she laugh in the face of adversity because she trusts God? She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teachings of kindness is on her tongue. Yeah, that genuine giving and generosity. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. I definitely need to follow that one more. Sometimes I'm very idle. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but the woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Your charm, beauty, those are for humans. I'll talk about this soon, but those things you're doing for people and for their validation and for their glory, so it means nothing. It's vain. But fearing the Lord, praising the Lord, honoring the Lord is for him, so it is not vain. It means everything. Give her the fruit of her hands, and let her praise, and let her works praise in the gates. So, hardworking, generous, and not afraid. It's a lot to live up to. But anything is possible. And when you put your faith and you put your life and what you seek and all the validation you seek, when you turn that away from the world and from people and put that into God, it becomes much more straightforward and simple. Because when you truly give yourself to God, the desires of your heart will be changed. You will fear the Lord. You will want to be generous. You will want to be hardworking. I mean, of course, everybody faces sin and temptation, but the Lord changes our hearts. So, Proverbs 31. I mean, I want to live by the whole Bible, of course, but I think Proverbs 31 sums up pretty well what it means to be a godly, God-fearing woman. So that's what I want to base this journey off of. So now, what I was saying about validation from other people, I think so much of my life has surrounded this. I think just talking to people, it's gotten better throughout the years and the months, specifically the months since I gave my life to Christ. But the journey is never over. But I find myself speaking differently, telling different sides of stories, and doing whatever I can to try to not upset people and to try to get them to think I'm agreeing with them, because sometimes I fear their, I fear their rejection, and I crave the validation. But I shouldn't fear that. I should fear God. It's vain. The validation means nothing. It's absolutely vain. And I think I need to start recognizing God's power, start fearing God more to diminish that craving for validation. So I'm going to be reading from John 5. This keeps going dim. But also, when you constantly crave validation from people, it really just destroys relationships, because who is seeing your true self? And you feel like you can't tell people things because you fear that rejection, and you feel like you can't be who you want to be. You feel like you're living a fake life just because you're afraid and just because you crave something vain. But I want to learn more. I want to pray more. I want to reflect more to create change. And I think this current problem has caused a lot of distress in my life, because I've had problems that I can only bring to Jesus. And I know that's normal, but I think it's to an unhealthy extent. There's things I should be telling important people in my life that I feel like I have to keep to myself, and that causes me pain. So just learning to trust, learning to reset, to reset your values and point your spiritual compass to what matters, and that's God. So I'm going to be looking at John 5. So I'm starting from verse 30. I can do nothing on my own. John, that is so true. That is so correct. And I think more people. Is everything okay? I hope everything's okay. But I think more people need to realize we can do nothing on our own. We wouldn't even be here if it weren't for the Lord. So all of our goals, all of our pursuits, all of our efforts, everything we need to root in Jesus. God's the one who brought us here, and He's going to be the one who helps us grow too. Looking at ourselves, glorifying ourselves, doing it for ourselves, that's vain too. That doesn't matter at all. But Jesus is all that matters. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just, because I seek not my own will, but the will of Him who sent me. Yes, God sent us here. If I alone bear witness about myself, my testimony is not true. There is another who bears a witness about me, and I know that testimony He bears about me is true. So, I'm not really sure why this is here. This is about justice and fairness and not doing things for yourself. You sent to John, and he has borne witness to the truth. Not the testimony that I receive is from man, but I say these things so that you may be saved. He was a burning and shining lamp, and Jesus gives us light, He guides us, and you were willing to rejoice for a while in His light. But the testimony that I have is greater than that of John, for the works of the Father has given me to accomplish. The very works that I am doing bear witness about me that the Father has sent me. It's all from Him. He gives us every ability, every breath, every word, all through Him. And the Father who sent me has Himself borne witness about me. His voice you have never heard, His form you have never seen, and you do not have His word abiding in you. Word abiding in you. For you do not believe the one whom He has sent. So, it is sad. Some people do not know of Jesus. Some people have never learned the gospel. Some people have heard it, but they don't believe it. Some don't have the word, the Bible, the words of the Bible, God's words, living in their spirit. We all have the moral code written on our heart, but reading the Bible is just so important. But as workers of Jesus, we should spread the gospel to all possible. You can search the scriptures because you think that in them you have eternal life, and it is that they bear witness about me, yet you refuse to come to me that you may have life. It is through Jesus we are saved and we are given life, not through anything else. You can be 100% law-abiding, but if you don't declare Jesus as your Lord and Savior and dedicate your life to Him, don't dedicate your life to the law. Dedicate your life to Jesus and follow the law because you love Him. If you don't do that, then you won't be saved. It's that simple. So, verse 40, yet you refuse to come to me that you may have life. Again, we're absolutely dependent on Jesus. Let me decline call real quick. We're absolutely dependent on Jesus, and that should be why we seek His validation only. You're not dependent on people. You're not dependent on sin. You're not dependent on the world. You're dependent on Jesus. And I think we have to have that abiding in our hearts at all times. Okay. Oh, the video has gotten a little long. I had another verse. Let's see. But I might have to go answer that call. Oh, yes. 1 Corinthians 9:2. If to others I am not an apostle, at least I am to you, for you are the seal of my apostleship in the Lord. So I think this connects to my life because in the past I felt fear about telling people I'm a Christian. Or not even that, just speaking about my religion and my personal experience and sharing the word that Christ is Lord. But again, the validation doesn't matter if others see me as an apostle or not, or is valid. It only matters that the Lord does, because he's my Father. So that's all I have for today. I hope whatever viewers, maybe one or two or none, you know my viewer is Jesus, and that's the only viewer that matters, right? I hope you enjoyed the little Bible study on being a God-fearing woman and validation and dependence towards God. And I will be updating tomorrow. I don't believe in all or nothing goals, but I believe in making a conscious decision to start putting in effort and acknowledging that you don't need to be perfect, and honoring grace when you do inevitably make mistakes. I think there's a difference between the all or nothing mindset and the motivated and realistic and the mindset that honors God. So I will be back tomorrow. I'm going to go watch an anime called Erased, which I've been watching. It's pretty good. And I will clothe myself in strength and dignity and seek God's validation. You know, I actually haven't thought about things this way. Sometimes when you're seeking validation from people, you're actively seeking it. And when you say, oh, I shouldn't do this, you don't think about actively seeking validation from God, doing things to please him. It's kind of just a passive thing when it should constantly be an active thing. I mean, he's your Father. Show him love, glorify him. But yeah, that's the takeaway. Bye, everyone. God bless.